we enjoyed what we did on Friday evening. So I thought we'd do a little bit more today, just so that, because some people come to one broadcast and other people come to another. So that's where we're going to be going in a few minutes. But in the meantime, I want to just take a second to acknowledge a few things that are going on with different people. And I'm just going to open up a document here so that I can go through that format for you. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Hi, Kerry, and hi, Jamie. Good to see you. Oh, that's great, Jamie. I'm just saying that we're going to be doing a little bit more soul work today. Just before we do that, though, I just wanted to give a heads up to Erin, and hoping that she's having a better week than she was having last week. Lauren, again, is still in hospital, but hopefully she'll be going home within the next week. Yay, if they can find all the bits and pieces that she needs. Jody is still waiting for her MRI, but we'd like to congratulate her. Big round of applause for Jody. She is now 3 years clean, cancer-free. So she celebrated that. So that is one. I'm just talking about you, Jody. So how does it feel to be 3 years clean of cancer? What I was saying, that Jody paid a high price on this in one way, because she's really struggling with this lymphedema, which makes you balloon up in a very bad way. But I guess it's preferable to the alternative on most days. I'm quite certain on some days you're not quite so sure, but I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of days, and every day that you can spend with Lionel, I would say let's be grateful for it at the moment. So, Kerry, I believe that you're all back on track, and that you continue to be happy. And I am presuming that, so let me know if that's not true. And let me just see if we've got birthdays coming up. I've got a feeling I missed Anna Marie. Let's see here. Bear with me a second as I pull up my page where I've got my birthdays. And who did we miss? I guess I did miss Anna Marie. Hang on 1 second. Come on. Load it. Yeah, it was Anna Marie's birthday yesterday. So belated birthday wishes to Anna Marie. And for those of you who know Chloe the Songbird, it's her birthday tomorrow. So there we are, the one we got the birthdays up to date. Yeah, Jody is just saying that although she's 3 years clear, she's got 2 more years to go before she can sort of breathe a bit more. But, I would think just every year that you're clear, it must help you to breathe a bit more anyway. But well done, Jody. I mean, that's, I know it's been a tough battle for you in a number of ways, but I am really grateful that you did it. Yeah, Kerry, one of the greatest things I learned in Africa is if you really are overheating, a lukewarm shower does a great job, not only for you, but also for your property. If you're in a house that doesn't have air conditioning, to actually, if it starts to get really hot in the house, run a cold shower and the heat will be sucked in with the shower water. Do you know what I mean? It sort of goes and it pulls the heat and takes it with it. It's a little bit of a waste of water, but if you stand in it, then it's not, because you're actually showering. So that's that side of it. Now let's go carry onwards and see what else I need to remember. Hi, Chip. Good to see you. We're about to do a little bit more soul work. And Beth got her job, so that's a good one. I think she said that she cleared her background check and got her job. So that's awesome. Very proud of her for that. And she also got her badge that I sent for all the good work. And by the way, she said on Friday that she is still not smoking, which is amazing. And when you think about it, the amount of effort it must have taken for her to get that under control is amazing. Also, I believe that by starting to work full time, it'll take some of the stress off her because the family is not going to be able to call on her all the time. I'm so glad. Jodie's saying that she's managed to chat with an old friend from her childhood. Hi, Darlene. Big hug to you, honey. Nice to see you. And welcome. Darlene, just so that everybody can be up to date, just let everybody know where you live and your age group, if you wouldn't mind. And do you know me through Benji and Judy, or did you happen to just pop in? Chances are I got a feeling I know you through Benji and Judy, but what I was going to say is let them know that, and then they'll get a chance to let you know where they are and what their age range is, by the decade is how we do it. I'm in my 20s, I'm in my 30s. Oh, yes, you're in Puerto Rico. We have met you before. Yes. Okay. So I'm hearing some really scary stuff about Puerto Rico, and I would really appreciate it. Hi, Jan. Jan, I'm hearing some really scary things about Puerto Rico that, you're not even recovered in any real way from the last Maria. I think it was Maria, right? So how scary is it to be back in hurricane season again? I'm really glad I've got you there because you're it's great to hear, from somebody who's actually there. And by the way, I do want to tell you that I'm a little bit miffed for those of you who are American. I am a little bit miffed this today. I really didn't like what your president called our prime minister. And I do need to say that. And I'm trying very hard not to use the words that I would like to. Just like, really. We have supported the U.S. in so many ways. And wow, just because, yeah, never mind. You don't want me saying what I feel right now. But we'll see. And I give all the more respect to John McCain, who said Americans don't feel that way, just our president. And I'm going, wow, that is so cute. I like that. Really like that somehow. But, part of me really would like to say a few words. Well, Jodie's saying that Lionel, her husband, said Sal's going to have a fit when she hears about Trudeau. I really smiled a bit, Jodie, because it's amazing how many people think that Canadians are weak or whatever because of our liberal outlook. Yeah, we do have very liberal views here. There's no doubt about it. But if you really want to find out, if you really want to find out about how weak Canadians are, I'd like to remind you that we are some of the biggest peacekeepers in the world, and that's pretty dangerous stuff. And yeah, we are a friendly bunch. We just, aren't quite as in your face, I'd like to say, as a lot of people. So we it's not that we're weak. Don't ever feel that Canadians are weak, because we're not. And if you want to find that out, excuse my language, piss me off and see what happens to you. Mm, but it'll hopefully be charming for most part, except for poor Benji. I did have a go at him last year, but with very good intent. Yeah, don't push me into a corner, because I'll come out in a way that you won't particularly like. So, having said that, I do understand it's not all Americans. I do understand that it is your president. And I do understand that it's not even the Republicans. I get that. But even so, there was that part of me that, Kerry, I really wanted to tell him what I thought. Okay, that's good. Well, Darlene, you're always welcome. And, we definitely would like updates from Puerto Rico. So, keep in touch, please, because we, to me, it's like, I don't know why, as an outsider looking in, and I could be wrong, it sounds like you guys didn't get nearly the support you should have done. That, you had more people die than Katrina, I think, if the truth be told. You had more people die than 9/11. Why doesn't anybody care that much? That's my query. So to me, I'm sort of like, and does he know you're American? So big hugs to you. Yeah. I'll keep talking about it if it helps. I don't think it will, but I'll keep talking about it. Yeah, he passed out paper towels. Yeah, sop it up with that lot. Yeah. You know me, darling. I have opinions, and I do share them. Not often, but I do share them. All right, so moving right along before I get upset again. Some of you was anybody not here on Friday? Because I'm going to start doing some more of that soul work with you. Because everybody seemed to enjoy that, and I thought we'd carry on. We've had some pretty tough moments in the last few weeks, so I thought it would be really good if we did some healing work with our souls. All right, so let me carry on then. And Jody, time check for 13 minutes. All right, so I have to put my glasses on, which will now match my top. I look so studious, don't I? Of course, I could do the over-the-top look. All right, here we go. We're talking about, I'm going to give you various quotes, and the trick is, as these quotes come in, what do you think about, right? Because as I read these quotes, your mind is going to take you somewhere. Yeah, I do look like a teacher, don't I, Jody? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Here we go. The impossible is possible when people align with you. When you do things with people, not against them. The amazing resources of the higher self within are mobilized. So let's do that again. The impossible is possible when people align with you. When you do things with people, not against them, the amazing resources of the higher self within you are mobilized. How many of you are going, I do find it easier to do things with people? Any of you? And part of me would ask you, do they actually even have to be there? Or do you just need somebody that understands what it is you're trying to do so that you're on the same page, um, and moving forward, right? So they know what questions to ask you, if you like, when they're on the phone with you or when they're sending you an email or a text. They know, for example, can you imagine that anybody that is close to me at the moment knows what I'm doing? Um, and I'm asking different friends of mine different sorts of questions. Do you know what I mean? For example, um, I'm asking, do you know anybody that lives in um, a fifth wheel full time? I'm asking them, do you know anybody who does it? Because if so, I want to know what do they do about their permanent address? Because you need a permanent address for things like your driver's license and so forth. And so, all along the line, I'm sort of using my sphere of friends to use their sphere of friends to get me information. Make sense? So I am doing, as some of you know, this major possibility of moving out of my 2,400 square feet into maybe 400. Do you think it's going to feel just a little cramped for a while? But remember what I was asking you guys about which rooms could you get rid of? I really am realizing that the two rooms that I use most, if you like, or three, I'm not going to count the bathroom because obviously, at my age, I use the bathroom quite a bit. But but I'm going my bedroom, my kitchen, and my crafts. Those are the three things that really I spend the most time in. And I can basically. No, you don't need Jan, you don't need a dining room. That's right. That's what we all agreed on, that not all of us said that would be the first room to go in our house to be converted into something else. Okay, no problem, Jonas. Or a formal living room. Yes, that's right. So Jan, bringing that in mind, a lot of the fifth wheels and toy haulers that I'm looking at, um, I really would like an island. So I now know I need to go island and two opposing slide outs, because if you've got two opposing slide outs, you've got room for an island, and it actually makes the house look incredibly big. But I don't need a dinette and a formal dining room. I believe what I want is a really nice uh, U shape that probably has a dining room table thing for it, but like a U shape. But almost I've got TV trays. If you want to eat with me, here's a TV tray, and my friends would be happy to do it. Or I'll take the table that will obviously come with the toy hauler, and put that out when I need it. Bigger, or buy one from Walmart. It's like these things are not things I need all the time. So they, I can get, I can use it in my art studio, and if people are actually coming for dinner, I can pull it out of the art studio and cover it. Um, you see, the other thing that I've been thinking about is I like the idea of a toy hauler because I can then make a big mess in the garage as long as, and this is where I've got to do more research, as long as it's heated, because that's going to be a cold room in the winter if it's not, doesn't have the ability to be well heated, and that it's well insulated. So I actually will want to find one that has a full insulation package on it. I'm sure you can understand that. So, but the thing is, what I find, and the reason I'm talking about this is because each of my friends that I talk to about it, they will come up with another question. Have you thought about da 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 da? All right. And I go, yeah, actually I have, thank you, but keep asking those questions because I want to make sure I've covered all the bases. So do things with your friends. And don't, how many of you are scared to discuss your dreams with your friends because you might fail? Hi, Beth. I just gave you lots of kudos for your new job. Congratulations. And but are you still not smoking, Beth? Amazing. I am really, I am so impressed with you. It's not even funny. I'd love to think that we're that good, but you must have really wanted us when you came on board. Do you know what I mean? They say that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Um, and Beth, I want to tell you that I'd like to apologize to you because I have not been as good as I should be and have been about putting up my calories every day. And I know that the rest of the fitness group know me really well, and they know that I've done it 24/7 every day. Um, and for some reason, I am in a different space at the moment. I do keep track. I just am forgetting to put it up, and it's just like insane. So I will try and find yesterday's and do it with today's. All right, but I would like to apologize to you, Beth, because you don't know that I really have been doing it every single day. No, it's not. It's I've got to not have that excuse, Beth. Right? I need to make the time. Is it me or are my glasses just a little bit skew? Hang on. Or maybe my ears are. You don't normally notice it, right? But okay, maybe they're okay. All right. So here's your next quote. By the way, so if I ask you a question, which is, what goals are you trying to achieve at the moment that you have discussed with your friends? The safe friends. Safe friends are people who will not use it against you, that they will just support you in what you're trying to do. Because if you've discussed it with your friends, then obviously we can hear about it too. And that means we can help. Because we're sort of friends, right? Well, maybe. And I think it's really important to every week go, okay, what's my goal for this week? However small the goal is, what's my goal for this week? Uh, it's because if I do nothing else, what's the one thing I would like to accomplish? And if I don't do anything else, the one thing I'd like to accomplish. Oh, I know. I've got a draft excluder for my kitchen door that I need to put on. So that's on my list. And I want to start downsizing in my art room. I don't really want to do it, but that's what I need to do. All right. This week is downsizing the art room, and I'm going over the line into the States to have a look at some rigs in the States to get an idea of, is it worth buying it in one in the States and hauling it back to Canada? Or having them haul it back to Canada is probably what I'm going to do. All right. Now, this is a lovely quote. I love this one. Right. So, good, Jody. Jody says her goal is to strengthen her legs, which you've been working on. So, how can we support you in that, Jody? Just check in how your leg exercises are going. Are you still doing the like the blood pressure monitor thing, the sleeve? Jody's got giant, that thing that they do your blood pressure with? Well, she's got giant ones that go all the way up her legs and halfway up her body. And are you still doing that on a regular basis, Jody, just so that I can get a better sense of this? And what that does, for those of you who don't know, lymphoderma is where your lymph glands are not functioning properly. And what you end up with is, the liquid pooling in your lower extremities. And Jody's has pooled all the way up her legs and almost to her stomach. Okay, so that's all that we need to do is just check in with you and see how you're doing with your. So, what's your goal? How many times do you want to be accountable for? so that we can stay interested in it. And my other question is, are there other exercises you could be doing? Hey, you know what I was wondering, Jody? And next time you're with your medical person, have you seen that new thing that they're advertising on TV where you put your feet down and it actually vibrates and thereby uses all your muscles? Remember we used to have them for our stomachs. Well, they've got one now that's for your feet. And I was wondering, being me, I was wondering whether that would help you at all. Good. So you're doing 3 leg treatments, and then every day you're doing strengthening exercise. And that's why I was wondering about this sort of like wobble board. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find it. Next time it comes up for me, I will get its name and then I will find out what it's called. I'm sure it's not cheap, but it may be something you can get, on your medical system. And the fact that it's being advertised on television makes me think it probably not. But, maybe it will work because what it does is it actually vibrates, do you know what I mean? In the old days, we had that band that used to wobble you. I don't know. Some of you are not old enough, but some of you are. But I think what this does is it literally is doing this with your feet, which of course makes all those muscles work. And those are the muscles you need to be working to pump fluid. So the next one. I love this one, and I'd like you to give this a little bit of thought. So just take a breath for a moment and take it easy. This quote says, "Be open to your happiness and sadness as they arise." I think what we do in life, and I don't know if any of you agree with me, is that we are always happy with the happy stuff, but we don't actually give equal weight to the sadness. And when I say equal weight, how many of you um, give way more weight to the sadness than you do to the happiness? And so part of what I would like to challenge you to do is to do everything you can to increase the happy part. When I say increase it, be grateful every day for everything you can find to be grateful for. I keep saying that although what I'm trying to do is extraordinarily stressful, there's no doubt about it, and anybody who's gone through it, um, I keep thanking the universe for the fact that I've got this problem. Because, it's you only have this problem if you're lucky enough to have a house that you need to downsize. So there's part of me that goes, if I didn't have a house, my problems would be very different. I need to be really grateful. And this whole thing about, do I want to go and buy an apartment, which will cost me $500,000 here where I live, or and I don't have that sort of money and be able to do live as well. Or do I want to get, a really luxurious fifth wheel, maybe a couple of years old, and live in a really beautiful surroundings, but in a campground with people around me that will care whether I wake up in the morning? So, it's like I don't see myself as trailer trash, as they say. What I see myself as is a productive member of a community. And, to continue my art and continue my magnets and stuff like that, my crafts, but now have, people that actually need what I do around me, and they keep changing. So very interesting, hopefully. I was trying to work out, I know this sounds strange. I had a couple of my artworks Hi, Hobby. Good to see you. Had a couple of my artworks down on the countertops in my kitchen. I'm going, they'd make really beautiful cutting boards. And I'm going, no, wait a minute. How would you do that? And I'm going, yeah, but what if you could make it so that you could, when you turned it over, you had this piece of art? It's like, could I seal it in such a way that, when you didn't want the cutting board, you had the wood, but then if you turned it over, you could have this piece of art in your kitchen. You know me. I've got to try it. So be your own happiness, be aware of your happiness and your own sadness. Sadness is okay. Yes, and keep them in balance, right? Don't spend way more time being miserable because if you cannot control your misery, all right, then you need to be talking to a medical professional. That's what I always say to people, which is, everybody has a couple of days when they're sad. That's called life. I was sad that Anthony Bourdain died, but I didn't let it overwhelm me, and I carried on. Now, I'm certain some of you will remember when Princess Diana died. That totally overwhelmed me. Right? It totally overwhelmed me. I was out of control on that one. I cried for 3 days. There's something horrible, and I eventually went and got some help with it because I realized that somewhere I was triggered with that. And I needed to do some work to find out because that's why I couldn't get over it. So, how many of you know that getting help is not a negative thing? I've always said that asking for help is a sign of strength, not one of weakness. Because if you ask for help, be it, that you come here and we discuss things or that you, um, go and see your medical professional or do whatever, if you actually talk things out 9 times out of 10, they're not nearly as bad as you awfulize them to be in your own life. So I really do need you to understand that asking for help or discussing things, however embarrassing they may be, that's a sign of great strength, in my view. Okay, so now let's have a look. The next one. I love this quote, right? Love alone can unite living beings so as to complete and fulfill them. For it alone joins them by what is deepest in themselves. All we need is to imagine our ability to love developing until it grows, until it embraces the totality of men and of the earth. Here we go again. Love alone can unite human beings so as to complete and fulfill them, for it alone joins them by what is deepest in themselves. All we need is to imagine our ability to love developing until it embraces the totality of men and of the earth. I think that if we can constantly check in with ourselves, do any of you ever find you're being a bit of a brat about, maybe you're bad mouthing somebody when you didn't really mean to, but the little devil inside you got over your tongue and out before you could close your mouth. Have any of you ever had that happen? I wish I'd closed my mouth sooner on that one. So if my bitch from hell comes out, hi, Erin. If my bitch from hell comes out, then what I try and remember to do is I try to remember how would I be talking about this person if I loved them? And then my bitch from hell says, but you don't. And I'm going, yeah, but how would I be thinking and how would I be talking about them if I did? Hi, Erin. And so part of me goes, be gentle with yourself. Now, there've been a couple of viewers in the last couple of weeks who have, and it's not just one, it's a couple that I've been in touch with, who have tried to set down boundaries with people, and the people didn't hear the boundaries. And so both of them had to end up being quite vicious almost in their wording to, to get the boundary down. And I am certain, because I know both people, that that ends up making, if you're human, making you feel like, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't done that. But will you remember to be kind to yourself and say, I wouldn't have had to do that if the other person had bothered to listen. I kept sending out the warning signals and putting up the red flags, like, I need to stop talking about this now, or if we can't get onto a positive subject soon, I'm going to need to go. Whatever it is that you did to try and warn them that that was enough, they didn't listen. And so then in the end, you ended up losing a little bit of control, but putting down a very solid boundary that said, go away, probably using two different words. So my question is, do you understand that that wasn't your failing? Um, we can say, okay, maybe I could have said it better, but it's not really your failing if you tried to warn them. I find this happens to me a lot with the people, I'm on a do not call list and I have people still calling me. And I try to be polite. I know they've got a job to do. And I'll go, I hear what you're trying to sell me, and I appreciate you've got a job to do. So thank you for informing me. I appreciate it, but I don't need this. And then they will go, they'll carry on. And I'll go, now, I just want to tell you, I'm going to try one more time to be polite and tell you that I don't want to have this conversation. But if you continue after this little bit, I'm just going to put the phone down. And I'd hate to do that because you sound like a nice person. So can we agree to disagree? I don't need it. And thank you very much for your call. And goodbye. So that I try that. I don't always succeed, but I do try to get in the warning that if you keep pushing, I'm just going to put the phone down. But I try to warn them first so that I don't have to say go away using those two other words. Makes sense? And it's the people that phone me at 9 o'clock at night that really get me, or 6:30 in the morning when I've only been asleep for a couple of hours. It's just like, I know you're calling me not from the West Coast of North America, because you would know that it's only 6:30 in the morning. So therefore, you are either on the East Coast or you are overseas. Now, whichever one you are, I need you to, in future, just think about what time it is in the place where you're calling, because you want to sell me anything, it's not a good idea to wake me up to do that, because it takes me 2 cups of coffee before my mind starts to work. So goodbye. Anyway. Very good. Moving right along. Gosh. However many holy words you may read, however many you speak, what good will they do if you do not act upon them? And again, however many holy words you read, and however many you speak, what good will they do if you do not act upon them? And that, how many of you know an awful lot of Christians who should never have that title? You know what I mean? Erin, I totally agree with you. Sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do to protect yourself. I understand that. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying, that a couple of my viewers over the last couple of weeks have had this happen to them. And I want to make sure that the fact that you put down a solid boundary is your right. If they didn't listen to the signals, if they were, so into themselves that they couldn't understand what you were trying to warn them of, then yes. And I'm certain that part of you goes, how could I say it better next time? So, seriously, that's all. And if you really, actually, I tell you something, if you really want to be clean, When I say clean, in your mind, maybe write an email and apologize for the way you said it, if you did say it badly or whatever it was, or the way you did it, if you did it badly, and just say, quite honestly, I was at my wit's end because you were not listening to me and I needed you to stop. And I kept warning you that I needed you to stop and you didn't listen. So I'd like to apologize for my behavior, right? You know what I've always said about this? You are only responsible for your behavior, not somebody else's. And if you have character, then you are big enough to apologize for what might have been bad behavior, even if it was justified bad behavior. Do you understand what I'm saying about? And that's something that we do for our own peace of mind, right? I know I had the right to do it. I just didn't do it the best way, and I think I need to own that. If that's what you believe, and if you don't believe it, then that's fine. So that's what I always try and check in on, which is, did I do this right? And I can remember somebody once accusing me of something that was totally wrong. And I remember that I was told, don't even bother to defend it. Don't even bother to defend it because they're not going to believe you anyway. And I said, gee, I'm really sorry, but I need to get this message over. I don't care if they don't understand it. For me, I need to make sure that I have told my truth. Yes, and somebody's writing here, I had terse words with a person with whom I thought I had set strong boundaries. And they got mad at me, and I still don't feel bad about it. Yeah. Yeah, because you warn them. And if they don't listen, then that's the result. Right? If you don't listen when I give you warning that this is my limit here, and I can only do 6 hours in a day, whatever it is that you said, and they still want to carry on. This is like, sorry. Yep. So good. As long as you get that. So I was asking this question, how many of you know people that call themselves Christians, but really, they obviously didn't read the same book that you did. Right. And this is, again, another person says, I feel bad afterwards. Then I know if I feel bad afterwards, then I know I need to apologize. That's great. Check in with yourself. If you feel bad afterwards, then apologize, right? Because obviously that's your body telling you. But if I don't feel bad, then I know whatever I said needed to be said the way that I said it. I love that. Yeah, so I think quite a few of us know people that call themselves Christians. Now, there are days when I actually have halo and wings. I don't mind telling you. But there are also days when I am not that perfect. Okay, so somebody's saying that their sister says that their job is a loser job. Well, I want to tell you something. You're getting a job. And we know where the word loser belongs, right? Whenever you say judge not lest you be judged, something, I find a different way. I find that if you say, gosh, I listened to what you just said, and I think you're being a little judgmental there. Did you intend to be? I find that works a lot better. If I go, judge not lest you be judged, then that's a fight coming up. And I go, I just want to check in for a second. I just heard what you said, and I don't know whether it's just the way I took it, but it sounded really judgmental to me. Did you mean that? Because I never really saw you as a very judgmental person before. So think about rewording it, right? Right. So there is a Christian who preaches you're going to hell because you don't attend church. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that be at peace with yourself. Remember the desiderata thing? By the way, did you guys see that I did put up that link on the Facebook page for you? And I think I put it on Twitter as well. Um, so that you can understand that people are weird, aren't they? Yes. Now listen to what Chip says. You see, this is why we love having Chip on board, because she comes up with these wisdoms that are just awesome. The word job and loser do not belong in the same sentence, in my humble opinion. Yeah, Chip, we agree with you. You say it even nicer than that, Kerry. How do you say it? I don't to me to me um i- if I have to, I believe that my Christianity is between me and my God. Do you know what I mean? I think God sees everything I think, see, and do, and I really am quite comfortable with it. Mm, right, Erin. That's my point too, right? So Erin's saying that in the end, you're only responsible for your relationship with God. No one else can judge you. Yeah, it's exactly right. That's how I see it. Well, that's a good point. Yes. So if somebody says that, I think that's a loser job, and you might want to say, how would you feel if somebody told you that your job that you just got is a loser's job? Would you feel hurt? And well, it is. Well, I understand that in your judgment it is, and I obviously you wouldn't be doing this job, but I'm happy to do it. Right. It didn't stop you from taking it. Yeah. And you know something? That will be the first person to come up to you and say, I told you so as well. Right. If something goes wrong with the job, well, I told you that. So, be ready for that one, Beth, if anything goes wrong. All right. Now, this one is a good one that we all need to think about regularly. Dwell not on the past. Use it to illustrate a point and then leave it behind. Nothing really matters except what you do now in this instant of time. From this moment onward, you can be an entirely different person, filled with love and understanding, ready with an outstretched hand, uplifted and positive in every thought and deed. That's Eileen Caddy again. I love some of her quotes. All right, let me read it again so that you can absorb it again. Dwell not in the past. Use it to illustrate a point and then leave it behind. Nothing really matters except what you do now in this instant of time. From this moment onward, you can be an entirely different person, filled with love and understanding, ready with an outstretched hand, uplifted and positive in every thought and deed. How many of you need that quote on your mirror? That every day we just need to leave the past behind. Beth, for you to have made these steps that you've made in the last month, you had to have left that stuff behind. Do you understand what I'm saying? You had to have taken control of yourself. Yeah, I had a feeling a couple of you would. So what I'm going to do, Jody, please help me here if you would. I'm putting a piece of tissue in here, Kleenex in here to remind me, but I will actually put that quote up so that people can. I'll put it up on Facebook and Twitter for you. All right, and it's called Eileen Caddy with a C. Quote on moving forward. I'll make it look pretty and send it to you so you guys can download it. How's that? In my spare time. That's thinking positively, not thinking, "Ah, I never have time. I didn't have time to think this week yet." No, I'm going to be doing that. Do you all understand though? And this is the point that I meant to make on Friday, and I thought I better make it again today. Do you all understand that we could read these same quotes in a month, and the way in which you perceive them will be completely different? What's for dinner, Sal? Well, Kerry, for dinner today, we have a pork roast, slow cooked in apricot, ginger, and orange. On the side, there will be twice baked potatoes. In other words, I'll bake the potatoes, take the insides out, do them all, and throw in some cream cheese probably and stuff, and then put it all back in again and grill them probably. And then some vegetables. That probably will be some frozen vegetables because I didn't go shopping today. How many of you will buy a full loin of pork when you can get it? I find that every now and then, or almost actually all the time, if you go to Walmart, they have a full loin of lamb. And what I do is I bring that home and I cut it into three. And one lot I will probably, you know, and then every few weeks I'll do one of those three in a different way. You haven't had baked potatoes in 4 months. Well, I tell you, Erin, if I were there, I would help you. You've never had lamb, really. It has a different taste. If you do have lamb, make sure you have it with mint sauce because there's something about mint sauce and lamb together that just you haven't either, Kerry, really. Wow, it's one of my favorite foods. If when I went, you remember when I was in Hawaii, Benji and I went to a really upmarket meal one night, and I chose to have lamb. Yeah, it's very expensive in the States. Now, if you grew up in England or if you were where Lauren is in Tasmania or in Australia or even New Zealand, you will find that lamb is cheaper than beef because everybody eats it. It's ridiculously expensive here as well. Hi, Sakura. It's insanely expensive, but I still buy it for myself about once every 2 months. I will just buy a couple of the loin chops, the ones that have got the bone in them, um, and grill those up, and with globs of gravy and mint sauce and mashed potato and peas, and I have a little moment of heaven. And the funny thing is, Wade downstairs loves lamb, so occasionally I send some down to him if I'm cooking it, because it's me. Yeah, I want to tell you something. Baked potatoes are so easy to do, and I think when you do a baked potato and then cut it in half and then take the innards out and throw it in a bowl with some butter and some herbs and stuff and some cream cheese works really well, by the way. Mash it all up. Um, Put it back in and grill it. Yeah, if you really want to, maybe crumble a little bit of bacon on top of it. Yeah, because who doesn't like bacon? It just sort of is a different way, and I always end up eating the skin as well. So, and potatoes aren't nearly as bad for you as you think. It's what you put in the potato that's bad for you. The actual potato isn't that bad. I love mashed potato and gravy. I want to tell you. And so what I do is I make extra. so that during the week I can, and then I put it in. What I do, Kerry, is when I do it for Sunday, if I do mashed potato on a Sunday, I will actually, make a little bit extra, and then I put it in 1 cup mason jars, so that during the week I will just have a cup. Yeah. You made a BLT pasta salad. That sounds wonderful. Yeah, if actually put cream cheese in, like you normally put butter in mashed potatoes, Aaron. I will put a little bit of butter while it's still hot, and then I'll also put in a little bit of cream cheese. Maybe a tablespoon of cream cheese, and lots of black pepper. And then, yeah. What are those? Those are spring onions in the, what can I say? Here we go. Next one. Are you ready for the next one? Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness, concerning all acts of intuitive and creation. There is one elementary truth: the ignorance of what kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. The whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man would have dreamed of that would have come his way. All right, that was a very long quote. But you understand in simplicity what it's saying. Until you make a decision, the universe can't support your decision. So my decision to maybe not go the route I was going, maybe I have a look at a whole different idea about where I might live and how I might live. You understand, until I made that decision, I didn't get excited about it because it wasn't in my sphere of thought. But now that I'm thinking about the possibility of getting a top of the line luxurious fifth wheel, now I'm seeing them all over the place, and I'm, spending hours online enjoying looking at their floor plans. So to me, it's like, have any of you ever bought a car? And the funny thing is that, maybe you bought a red car or a yellow car or whatever, and until you bought that color car, you didn't realize how many cars there were on the road of that color. It's called the law of attraction. So it's like once you buy that car, you're going, look, there's another red car, and there's another one. And you're going, I never knew there were so many red cars on the road until I bought one. And so that's law of attraction stuff. Right. Kerry's got a white car. So you notice a lot of white cars. I found that I used to see a lot of red cars because my little red me machine that I had, which was a turbocharged number, sports car type thing, which I loved. I always noticed red cars. And then I got the tank, otherwise known as Mickey Blue Eyes, which is my Jeep. And it's the blue is really weird. If the sun catches us a certain way, it's actually an amethyst color. But if you ask any human to just say, what color is my car, they'll say it's blue, dark blue. I think they even call it patriot blue, some people. But if the sun catches it, it actually isn't blue at all. It's a deep purpley color. So to me, it's like, understand the law of attraction. Now, Beth, that's really interesting what you're saying there. You feel that way about food now, right? When I go to a store now, I get excited instead of anxious. I think that's so wonderful because now you can see you can eat food, but it doesn't have to make you, fat and whatever. You can actually eat healthy food and so get all the benefits of food without without feeling that you are gross. Very important. Are you maintaining your weight, Beth? Oh, by the way, I've got a tip for the day. I don't know if I told you this one. You know that when you're trying to get your house ready uh, for showings and stuff, you've got to sort of get into a habit of keeping it clean. I found a great way. Did I tell you about this one? I have found a great way of keeping all the waste paper bins clean. Did I tell you this one? Some of you are going to love this. It was one of, as Jody would say, it was one of my Miss MacGyver moments. She calls me Miss MacGyver. Um, okay, so here's what I do. Now, some of you are just going to burst out laughing. All right, so you've got your waste bin. Okay, do you keep a plastic bag in there, a Safeway bag or something, right? So what I do now, don't laugh, is I put a second one in. And when I need to throw anything into the garbage, I just peel back the first one, throw it in, and peel it over again. How many of you got that picture in your mind, or do I need to go and get one? So my waste paper bins are perfectly clean all the time, except they're not. But if anybody walks into my house, it works so well, doesn't it, Beth? I'm amazed. I go, that looks perfectly clean all the time. And occasionally, you accidentally just throw it on top. Well, that's fine. You just take it up and put it where it's meant to be. And I'm going, why didn't I think of this years ago? Because I didn't need it years ago, but I do need it now. And that's why I'm learning quite a bit. This one is a very famous quote, and I am certain that all of you need to hear it again. So when I finished it, I'd like to know what idea came to your mind. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. Begin it now. How many of you have got a bucket list thing that you haven't even started to work on? Oh yeah, it's by Goethe. It's a really great quote, right? Um, Begin it now. In other words, even if you take one step, remember that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So if you just take one step towards your bucket list item, and that's what I keep doing every day, and I think you guys understand that. I didn't get that many boxes packed up by doing it all in one day. Just every day. On Mondays, I normally make about 4 boxes on a Monday. No, more, probably 6 actually. And then I put them in each room. And then my job is to fill those boxes. And I'm filling them from the need down. It's really interesting to me that by the time I've got this finished, I'm going to know what I really need in my life because it'll still be upstairs. And everything that is downstairs or sitting here about to go downstairs, I obviously don't need in my life because they were the last things, they were the first things to be packed up. Or they were so valuable to me that I packed them up. It's one or the other. I'm not quite sure which. So I find that very interesting in terms of this. Now, do you all understand why I am considering a toy hauler as a possible means of dwelling? Because what I want you to see is that I keep thinking about what rooms do I use the most. So I need a nice kitchen. I don't need a big living room because I don't use a living room very much, but I definitely use my kitchen a lot. I definitely need a nice bedroom because I use my bedroom a lot. And I need somewhere that I can make a mess because I'm an artist. So if I don't get a toy hauler, which is basically is a garage, which would be a great place as long as I can keep it warm in the winter. Either I need to have a toy hauler with a garage, or else I need a second room, one that I can close the door on. But I don't really want to get a really nice second room because if I have a really nice second room, I'm just going to make a mess of it with paint. So you see, a toy hauler really works, especially if it's got its own half bath, so that you can wash things out and not get them near the coach at all, or most of it. You can leave your painting shoes in the garage. All right, so it makes sense, and plus I can also keep all the art stuff in the garage. Um, and those toy haulers have double beds that come down. They have sofas that go like this, but also can make a double bed. But then there's another double bed that comes down. So I'm going, okay, fine. If I lower that top double bed down and load it up with all my art supplies, my extra canvases, my frames, my blah, 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 and then push the bed back up again. Now I take the second level and I put the stuff there that I use more often, probably put a big piece of um, transparent plastic over it, thick plastic, and then put my everyday art stuff on there, right? And then lift that up. I've got all those sort of things in the trailer, but they're not in the part where I'm trying to live. But most of those really big toy haulers, have got really big. Yes, it's a really nice thing. And what I was saying, Chip, is that, if I have one of those ones that has a deck off the end, that is a really nice thing as well, because in the summer, I can sit out there and, with an awning over me, I can sit out there and keep clean. Um, Now, ideally, I was thinking when I was looking at different RV places, I realized that if I have to back into somewhere, that deck is not going to be as useful to me. But if I can rent a full-time space where I can have a drive-through, um, so people are passing the art all the time. I think that's a better idea in the summer. So my idea is to paint all winter and then, sort of touch up and frame it and everything else in the summer and sell it if I can. And if I'm lucky, I might be able to almost be self-sufficient on that alone. If I, and as you know, I do fridge magnets and I do mugs. And, I think, if I just do a little bit of this and that everywhere, it'll be fun, hopefully. So remember that whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. Begin it now. And the other reason for that wonderful quote is because you don't know how long you have. So if there's anything in your life that you've got on your bucket list, please begin it now. And then here is the next one that also needs a lot of time and thought. And this one will be a little bit confusing for some of you. All we see or seem is but a dream within us. Or rather, it is but a dream within a dream. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. So let me ask you, what does that mean to you? Jody, it's really funny, isn't it? Because it was when I was making those 2 mugs that I really got to know you well. And, so I have to laugh because I can remember go looking for the particularly the lion, and I realized that I think I sent you a couple of possibilities for the lion, and the interesting thing to me was whichever one you chose would tell me what I needed to know about you. Hi, be present. Welcome. So how many of you realize that oh, Pat, it's so great to see you, honey. I was busy writing to Pat yesterday trying to find out asking questions about her new trailer. I sent a whole page of lion options. I'm kind like that, aren't I? Yeah, but you know why? What I did, Jody, was I went, well, if she is this sort of a person or he is this sort of person, they'll want this sort of lion. Or, if they're this sort of person, they'll want that one. But the one I really like is this one. And you picked this one. So I went, I know these people now. Because that's the one I would have picked for them. I felt much better when I did that. So, Pat, thank you for all your patience and writing back to me. One of the questions I asked Pat was, what is it like? Because I think yours is a 38 footer, right, Pat, than your new rig. And I said, ask Bill to let me know what it's like backing up a 38 footer. Because and then I thought to myself, why am I even concerned about this? Because first of all, I don't plan to back it up myself. I'm going to get some idiot to do it for me. And then I thought, well, if I did decide to, seriously, if I can back up a 26 footer, do you understand the only difference between a 26 footer and a 38 footer is where do you start the turn? Does that make sense? If this is a 26 footer like this, and I can manipulate that into a place, you know, and I can, then 38 feet just means where do you start the turn? Right? With a 26 footer, if I'm trying to get it here, all right, I'm going to, I come across the road like this and I back in like this, right? Makes sense? But if I've got 38 feet, I'm going to have to go higher up here and start the turn earlier. And the backup camera is amazing. All right, so that's not a maybe. Get the backup camera, even if I don't think I'm going to be using it. I think I'll get it in case I decide to get brave and get the truck. I think what I'm going to do there, Pat, is probably get it and live in it for a year before I buy the truck. I wonder if that makes sense to anybody. It's like I want to find out first, do I definitely think I can live in this 24/7? And if I think if after a year I'm going, "Oh, this is home. I love this. I love the people. I love the lifestyle," da da da, then I'll buy the truck. Because now I know this is okay. But to buy the truck today, I know it's going to cost me anywhere from 40 to 80,000. So, if I don't really need it, I've done the math, Pat. Tell Bill, he'll understand this. I literally have been working out how many times do I think I might even want to move the trailer if I, let's say, in an average year. I reckon even if I did decide to move it, wouldn't be more than a couple of times. So I'm going, I bet you that's a whole lot cheaper than maintaining a dirty great truck, a new one, or a newer to me. So I'm going, why don't I just hang on to the Jeep? And yeah, you paid 50 10 years ago. That's right. So you understand what I'm saying? Why would I spend an extra 50, which is going to depreciate immediately? Or why don't I just let somebody else move it for me? And even if that cost $1,000, it'd probably be cheaper than buying a new car. And the other thing is, when I need to go home, I go, okay, I want to go home now. Can you come and get my rig? Um, Because I have that flexibility now. If they say, "No, we're fully booked for tomorrow," I go, "Okay, I'll stay an extra day." And if the campground says, "Well, you have to move," I go, "I can't. I don't have a truck to pull it." But if you've got somebody that can pull it for me, I'll move it to another place for a day. I can do this, right? Please tell me I can do this. My big concern, well, I don't know if it's really sensible, but I'm going, why would I spend all that money? And, it's possible that after 6 months of winter, because I probably will buy it at the beginning of September, which means I'll get a couple of maybe a month of good weather, and then and then the Pacific Northwest weather starts. Yeah. And so I'm going, I will do my first 6 months in bad weather. So I reckon if I survive, if you guys continue to get, interesting videos from me in the bad weather, then I'm gonna love it in the summer. I know that. That's not an issue. My only concern is I don't do extraneous noise well. Do you know what I mean? People outside misbehaving, making noise. And I'm going, that's the only thing that worries me. And it does. So, Pat, what did you like most about your new rig? And by the way, for those of you who want to see, yeah, actually, I've got them. I could wear these. Um, these are really good for external noise. Good point, Jody. I get wireless these. That people are gonna go, you got earphones on. Yeah, right. Pat, what did you like most about your new adventure? I know you took your sewing with you. I think that was wonderful. You see, that's living life your way, not somebody else's. Um, did the children enjoy it? And did you have time to sew? That would be my other question. I think I would actually take my electric barbecue with me. The quiet park, yes. That's what I'm on the hunt for. I think I found an RV park that actually is quite close to me that is actually designed um, for full-time people. You sewed all weekend. You must be feeling so peaceful now. You went on vacation and sewed. Yes, I love it, Pat. That was worth every cent you spend on that rig. I am sure your soul felt so much better for it. I am so proud of you. Yeah, tell Bill, Pat, that I'm seriously considering. Yeah, so Bill was off with the kiddies, and you're going, they're gone. What am I going to? What were you sewing, Pat? How many of you can see here? There, yay, to the sewing machine. To tell Bill, I'm seriously, when I have a look, because some of these ones with a garage in them have quite big garages, and I'm thinking I could take some of my equipment with me. Yeah, how many of you can see me there with my what do you call it? My saw and stuff. Yes, you had a bottle of wine with you, and you were making quilts. Now, Pat, I do have a question of you. Which is if I do end up with a new fifth wheel, or new to me fifth wheel. And the color scheme doesn't match the quilt that I've got. May I order a new one? Because I love my quilt. I go to bed every night and say, I talk to you every night, Pat. I go, hi, Pat. Okay, that's good to know. It's funny, I keep going, that's got a brown interior. Oh, no, that'll go with the quilt. It's really funny how I'm looking at it. I'm going, oh, that's all black interior there. Well, I'd have to order a new quilt. And I'm going, well, I'm sure Pat would allow me to do that. Well, you know something, Pat? This is the funny thing that you were saying that about how will I keep warm in the winter. Do you know that when I first had my trailer, I went out every single month, 12 months of the year. I went out for a week. 1 week out of every 3, I was away. And the interesting thing was that I never did feel cold because what I did is I took and I didn't run my furnace the whole time. What I did was I took 2 things, a ceramic heater, and I also took, if it was really in the middle of winter, I took my oil-fired heater. You know, it's got oil inside it. And I found that heater with oil inside it worked really well for just keeping the edge off. And then when I really needed to boost the heat, I could use the ceramic one just in the area where I was. So, mm. And Pat, what I really wanted to thank you for, it is so beautifully made. You know, I wash mine probably every couple of months. No, not, but about every season I wash it. And I really, really do want to thank you for that. But I may need a really plain white one because I think if I end up in a small space for a bedroom, a really nice white quilt would look beautiful. So I will let you know what I need. So exciting. All right. So, everybody, I hope you've had some joy in um, these soul moments that we've had. I I want to tell you that sometimes we just need to realize that life continues the same pattern. It is the way that we deal with life that changes. How many of you notice that, you know, your ability to handle stress is getting better or has shifted in some way? And how many of you, you know, get frustrated with yourself because, you know, life isn't perfect yet? Well, hello. The bad news is it never will be. So I would say to you that I want to continue doing um, more soul work so that we can, you know, do the interesting stuff, but that gets pretty serious, and then we'll just do the soul work to keep grounding ourselves again. Yeah, it's interesting. So Chip's saying for me, it's tackling your task list, right? That's helped you do that. And Kerry's saying, I always cope better when the sun is out. Yes, isn't it funny how we do that? But there is, of course, a technical reason for that. All right. There is a technical reason why we do things better in the summer. And so if that is true, and you are taking vitamin D all year, Kerry? Yeah, and I'm certain a lot of people will relate to that. It took me a long time when I first came to Canada to realize that I struggled with seasonal disaffective disorder or whatever it's called, because the days, I was used to the African the African days, which are very long. You're right, and when I say they're very long, but they're very sunny and very bright. And then I came to Canada, where we had so many dark days. And, to me, it was like, how am I going to do this? And I really got depressed I would think for the first 10 years that I was here, I had major problems with SAD syndrome. And then I didn't realize that I could control it. I just ended up, having to take medication all the time during the winters. And then I suddenly found that vitamin D, wow, that really changed my life quite a bit. And the other thing was taking the goal setting down a tad. You also take B12 all year round. That's good. So I actually don't take B12. I used to. When I was on antidepressants, I took B12. I must admit that I always supplemented with B12 when I was on antidepressants, but I definitely don't go a day without my vitamin D. So I'm much happier camper now most of the time. All right, everybody. I hope this has been helpful to you, and I hope that it was worth your time. And I thank you for uh, donating where you can. For those of you watching on the replay, if you'd like to donate to what we're doing and how we do it and everything else, please feel free to visit the DearMamaSal.com page, because there is a PayPal donation button. And every little bit helps me keep the websites going and doing all the other things that cost me money. And I appreciate that. I'm going to sneeze. That's a cough sneeze. So I really want to thank all of you for being here and being part of the process. I particularly want to thank Jody for being my ears and eyes and everything else during these broadcasts, because she's great admin help for me, and I do appreciate it. And she does it 3 times a week with very little reward. So thanks, Jody. And you do it regardless of how you're feeling, and I love you for that. I hope that I always think she must enjoy it, otherwise she wouldn't do it. But I do want you to know, Jody, I do appreciate it. So everybody have a super week. I hopefully on Tuesday I will have some footage of some of the units that I'm going to see. How many of you want to see some of these things? Now, I know if you really wanted to see them, you probably will have checked them out already, but I'm hoping to be able to go, okay, guys, I really like the look of this one, and this is why. Okay. So I can show you, okay, watch this, do this. And imagine I got all my cubies up here. Now they've gone out of the way. I think, it's sort of like you'll understand why I'm thinking this toy hauler is probably the way I'm going to go. Now, the thing is, for those of you, how many of you are analytical? Jody is. How many other people are analytical? You do know that I'm producing a spreadsheet. Yeah, I know you are, Jody. I'm producing a spreadsheet, Jody, and it's, how much will it cost me to buy an apartment? How much will it cost me to buy a mobile home? How much will it cost me for strata fees? How much will it cost me for pad rent? How much will it cost me for a toy hauler? And then doing all that calculation, right? And if I buy an apartment, I have very little to live on. That's the interesting thing, because the money is already in the property, but I will have money, when I sell it. If I look at this one, I have a little bit more money. Oh, are you? Good, Chip. So you'll be able to help me think of things that I haven't thought of. And then I'm looking at, okay, if I buy a top of the line brand new unit, is going to cost me this. Even if they charge me this much for pad rent, I still have more disposable income. But at the end, I won't have much, to sell. Does that make sense? So do I want to enjoy Do I want to enjoy my life now, or do I want to have um, the security of knowing that I've still got this money when I sell the apartment 10 years later, if I stay healthy, right? And then you understand? So that's where my mind is at. I've got to look at those two different things. But then there are an awful lot of people that have stayed in their fifth wheels for the rest of their life. They died there. So I don't know. We'll see. I think what will happen is the right one will come in front of me. And the other thing I was thinking about, hey, well, I've still got the house. It'll be very easy. Yeah. I think it'll be very easy for me to get a big one because I got serious equity in my home, which says, hey, feel free to lend me some money. Because as soon as I've sold my house, I'm paying the whole lot off anyway. Or, yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so thank you all for your support. I just need you to know, everybody, that I really appreciate all the support you've been giving me, and I hope that some of you are learning your own lessons through what I'm going through. And because I don't want to bore you with my process here. So you need to keep honest about that. If you're getting fed up with hearing about my adventure, be honest, and I will keep that down a bit. But to me, it's like it doesn't matter what your goal is. You're all going to go through what I'm going through with whatever your goal is. So I was thinking maybe if you can see that I'm dealing with exactly the same stuff. Never boring. Believe you me, Jody, 4:00 this morning, I'm going, I can't believe it's 4:00 again. And then it was 5, and I'm going, I've got to get some sleep. I've got to broadcast and cook a meal. How are bags doing? This is DearMamaSal saying, big hugs to you all. Remember to look after one another, but most of all, please, please, please look after yourselves. And and please remember, we're all going through our stuff. We all have our challenges every day. It's not just you. Okay, so what is this? Thank you, Sal, and everybody else, and have a wonderful week. Can't wait for the fifth wheel shopping update. Yay! Jody, I have a big request of you. Wednesday, will you tell me to get my feet off the ground and edit? Because I'm going to have footage. And Monday, could you remind me to charge up my spare battery for my phone? Then I'm done. This is DearMamaSal saying, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We can do this together because that's what life is about. That's what friends are for, and that's what support is. That we understand it goes in cycles. This week it's Sal. In 2 months' time, it's going to be Carrie again, or it's going to be Beth again, or it's going to be Jody again, and we'll just keep rotating and we'll all just keep learning. This is DearMamaSal saying, thanks, everybody. Bye-bye for now.